Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Man Joe, and I finally did it after years of playing on the Xbox 360, and the Xbox One. I broke down and I bought myself a PlayStation 4. There's a lot of new games coming out that have some exclusivity deals with PlayStation, so I decided to go ahead and get the console and try it out so I can take part in those exclusivity deals. And as soon as I did, I found I had a little issue, and there's nothing wrong with the console. The console's great. I'm very impressed with it, but my problem is coming down to the controller, and that I just can't get used to this controller. I've been using Xbox controllers for so long, and the problem is you know, I keep hitting the bumpers when I press the trigger by accident. And the reason that is because these triggers are much smaller. If you look on here, when you compare it to the Xbox One controller, look at the difference in the size of those triggers. So when I use an Xbox One controller, I rest my fingers down here and I press here, and then I can move up to hit the bumper button. On the PlayStation 4 controller, my hands are here, and there's really no place to rest it down comfortably without my fingers slipping off. So when I put it up here, I keep accidentally hitting that, you know, L1 and L2 and R1 buttons. So I decided to go ahead and look for a solution, and I found these. These are the Scuf Gaming PS4 trigger extenders. They also call them the Trigger Fangs. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to put these on. I'll show you how we put them on, and then I'm going to show you some issues that I found with them and let you know what I think of them. So let's get into that. Okay, so putting these things on is a very simple process, and if you look up close on them, I'll focus in on that. You can see on there, it does say L2 and R2, and that's the, you know, which trigger they're going to go in on. You can't put them on the wrong ones or they won't fit, they won't work. So we're going to take this is the R2, and we're going to go over to our R button, and all you're going to do is press down on your trigger, and you're going to kind of slide them up and top, and you'll feel it catch in place, and then you just press downwards on the trigger like you're firing, and you're going to feel it snap in place, and now it's in there securely. And then we go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. You just kind of press it in, you'll see how it just automatically pushes the trigger down, and then just snap it, you'll feel it click into place. And now, my triggers are much more extended. You can look off to the side, look at where my actual trigger stops, and look at how much more it's extending it. Makes it much easier for me to use, makes it much more similar to like an Xbox controller, because now I can put my fingers down here and I'm not accidentally slipping up like here and hitting the L1 and the R1 buttons. Here's the problem. They're affecting my PlayStation 4. When I first got these things, I was really excited. I put them on the controller, turned on my PlayStation 4, which I'd had for about 30 minutes, and started messing around in the menu, and everything started going haywire. I couldn't figure out what was going on. I thought something was wrong with the PlayStation 4. Turned out it's these trigger extenders. If you look on here, and it's going to be kind of hard to see on the video, but they are ever so slightly pressing in on the trigger. So if I take my finger and just kind of move it up, you can see that trigger, how it's moving up a little bit. The problem is there's a little indentation up here, and it's not allowing the trigger to come all the way to rest. Now, it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens enough that there's issues. I was playing in Battlefield, and every time I pressed down on this button, it automatically would fire because I was pressing here, and it thinks I'm also pressing my, you know, trigger button, and that's a big issue. Okay, so right now we're inside of the store on the PlayStation 4 menu system, and here's my controller, and you can see it is on, and as I press the buttons, look how nothing is happening. It won't move over, nothing's happening, and it doesn't do this all the time, it just happens randomly. And now my trigger extenders are on. Now if I take these trigger extenders off, now look at how the screen all of a sudden changed. Now I can start pressing the buttons, and everything starts working. So there is definitely an issue with these. As soon as I put them back on, I end up with the very same problem. So we'll put these back on. And again, it doesn't always do it. But here I'm pressing the button, nothing's going on. Now if I take my fingers and press up on the trigger extender, look at the bottom of the screen. Look at now, all of a sudden, I can start pressing buttons and moving around and stuff. But if I let go, once again, it's not working. It thinks I'm pressing in on these trigger fingers. So you can see there's definitely a problem there. And it doesn't happen all the time. And the reason it doesn't happen all the time is because when I first take the controller and I press up, now it's fine. But the second I press that trigger one time, all of a sudden we get into the same issue. Because what's happening is the trigger isn't able to go back all the way. And again, if we focus in on that more, you're going to see The problem is this little lip right here. You can see how this angles up a little bit, and look at where it's contacting that little piece of plastic below the R1 and the L1. It's not allowing the trigger to come back to its resting position. So it thinks I'm pressing in on the trigger, or it thinks that trigger never came back to its full position. So there is a solution to this. Either A, you can try to contact Scuf and, you know, send it back to him, but good luck with that. Or if you want, if you spent the $10 like I did, you can take these, and this is what I'm going to try, and just shave these down just a little bit. And if you shave just a little bit of that plastic off with like a nail file or a piece of sandpaper or something like that, it should make the trigger come back up to its resting position. So that's what I found with these. I really like the idea. I like the concept. I like the fact that it's going to extend my triggers, but the problem is it's just not working right. It's not my controller. It's not my PlayStation. It's these trigger extenders. So Scuf, if you see this, please go back to the drawing board. It's a great idea, but you need to shave a little bit of this plastic off. So if you're considering getting these, just buyer beware. There is an issue with them. You're going to have to do a little bit of DIY modification to them to get them to work. So that is my video for today, guys. Hopefully it helps you out a little bit. Hopefully it helps you to make a little bit more informed decision. Like I said, I really wanted these things to work, and I am going to try to shave off a little bit of the plastic and modify them and see if it works. And if it does, whether it works or not, I will put a little thing down in the description box. I'll put an edit in there whether it worked or not. But again, it's just a little issue. It's a great idea. It's a great design. They just need to modify it a little bit so that the triggers aren't like depressed a little bit, so that they can come back to their full resting position. So please do me a favor. Hit the like button down on the bottom. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And until next time, happy gaming.